Hi, welcome to Mercurious Being. This is Amy Jensen with your Astro Update / meditative musing for today's full moon and tomorrow's exact Mercury inferior conjunction with the Sun. And so for that Mercury conjunction with the Sun, we're really looking at three very intentional days. Today, the 6th, tomorrow, the 7th, when the conjunction is exact, and then on the 8th as well. It's a 3-day window for that. Today, being January 6th, is also the 12th day of Christmas. So it is also known as Epiphany, and it is the day that the Magi came upon the birth of the Christ. And I just have a little quote from Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew. After hearing the king, they went their way, and the star, which they had seen in the east, went on before them until it came and stood over the place where the child was. So we are looking at signs today, signs from the stars. And then as Stephanie Austin, the astrologer, said, for this 12th day of Christmas, along with this quote, along with this extra potent full moon, illuminating how we are expressing Christ consciousness. How would our lives change if we acted as if everything is sacred, including ourselves? The degree at which the sun and the moon are today. So the moon is at 16 degrees Cancer. And from Lynda Hill's Sabian symbols, we will read the Sabian symbol for the degree of the moon. And that is: the seed grows into knowledge and life. The seed grows into knowledge and life. The process of the germination of the seed is slow and progressive and must start from the very beginning. This seed may be an idea, a relationship, a process, a job, or a course of study. From the germination of the seed comes knowledge and life. Remember the maxim, think a thought and sow a seed. Sow a seed and do a deed. Do a deed, create a habit, create a lifestyle. The oracle for this Sabian symbol is: the important thing to realize is that something of value has the opportunity to develop, but will need nurturing, attention, fertilization, care, and hope. Things grow and, with time and nourishment, flourish, eventually providing further seeds for the future. However, at first, you may feel as though you are not growing or developing properly, or fast enough. Maybe there is dissatisfaction regarding your perceived progress. Perhaps you feel that everything will take too long if you start at the beginning. There are no shortcuts with nature. Things have to grow at their own pace and in their own time. It is important to grow and start small and let things develop from there. Even if you feel as though there is no time to baby along the situation, in the long run it will be for the best. Sacrifices may be necessary to ensure the development is complete. This can indicate pregnancy or the inception of a new idea. In a broader context, there may emerge a whole new and inspiring approach to or participation in life. It could eventually lead to the birth or the growth of something. A hobby or interest could turn into a money-earning project. The time is fertile for the process of growth to begin. And then also from Lynda Hill, The Sabian symbol for the degree of the sun is a young woman surreptitiously bathing in the nude. The commentary for this point: a young woman is shown. She is surreptitiously bathing in the nude. Whether she's lying in the sun or bathing in a pool, she's letting her body soak up the energy of the elements without worrying about the constraints of clothing or the fear of someone seeing her. She may be enjoying the delicious feeling that comes from allowing her body to be caressed by the sun, the wind, or the water. Perhaps she's surrendering to the impulse of independence and freedom as she employs the right to enjoy her body without worrying about what others may think or how they will react. The oracle for this point: you may feel the need to be rid of the restraints that have been imposed by social conditioning and its inhibitions. Although there may be some feelings of being exposed, really letting go and not worrying about being seen can lead to feelings of freedom. This symbol also speaks about the desire to break the prudish rules of society. The restrictions set on us by society are often against enjoying the physical body and therefore prohibit openness and the resulting fun. The inhibitions that society imposes are often based on expressions of shame and criticism. This symbol can also bring up issues to do with one's privacy and the desire to enjoy personal freedom and independence. There should be a sense of comfort within yourself, but with no desire to impose this on others. It can also show the drive to reveal the real truth about yourself to others. Be wary of really exposing yourself too readily or too much to others in the things you say or do, as you may do better to keep things more to yourself. What is it that's really being revealed, and what is it that needs to be revealed? Getting the outer layer of the situation off can show core realities that have been so far avoided. Try swimming or getting out in the sun, as this will help ease up any tensions that are around. So we are exploring this polarity of Cancer moon and Capricorn sun and Mercury. So the moon rules Cancer, and there's this essence of nurturing and nourishing and reflecting and mirroring with the moon. The moon goes through all the phases, so it's all about change. It's about flow, it's about cycles, and it's about rhythm. We're a little over halfway through the sign of Capricorn. And Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, opposes the moon in Cancer. So as the moon is all about nourishing and nurturing, and it rules babies and mothers and small children up to the age of 7, Saturn in Capricorn, as I talked about in the last video, is all about becoming one's authority. It rules the skin, it rules bones, it rules the processes of hardening and constriction and tightening. So we have at this time this very foundational energy, and I don't know about you, but I have been enjoying Capricorn season. I finally found something to do on New Year's Eve that really felt apropos of the season, which is spending part of the day cleaning, clearing out, going to Goodwill and donating things that were very good but had no longer served their purpose in my life. They were just taking up space, they weren't being used, and they needed to move on. So think of that structural element as Capricorn. These are foundational energies that need to be used, they need to be employed, and they need to be functional. When they are no longer any of those things, they need to hit the road and move on. And the moon in Cancer, signifying change and flow and going with your intuitive notions and imaginative nature. So at this time of polarity, we are setting up those structures throughout this Capricorn season, but now the moon highlights and reflects that sun back and wants you to go inside and feel it. So how do these changes feel within you? And I know I spoke before about that inner authority, or even the external authority, definitely with Saturn Capricorn, but also our internal authority. And with this Cancer moon, we're really being invited to go inside and feel into that authority. How do you feel? How do these changes feel? How does the structure feel? How could it feel more comfortable? And I was even thinking about the other day about what if, instead of one's inner critic kind of having this harsh, very authoritative voice, as mine does, perhaps yours does not. But what if we flip that a bit, and the inner critic, inner authoritarian voice was super moon-like, super lunar, super Cancerian, very motherly, and lovingly made you, maybe a little dose of reality, but with kind of covered in a hug, like, hey, dear, why don't you try this? And this might go a little better, suggesting those changes, whereas sometimes, again, that inner critic can be the heart, and harsh, the heart, harsh to your heart. There we go. Inner critic that, is shameful and is the finger wagging, patriarchal deity that is separate from us. But what if it were more of an internal awakening, that Christ within, that force within that's connected to all? Okay, and what if that force would allow you to feel into those intentions or structures, as I said, and then keep them more open-ended, more generalized, less limited. And then maybe we can allow ourselves to form the new structures by feeling what it is we'd like them to be. Maybe we don't know what they are, what they're called, or what they look like, but you know how you're going to feel when you get them or when you see them. And it's not a wish, it's not a hope. It's more like an honesty. It's more like, honestly, I don't want to do that. Or, honestly, that would be really great. I would enjoy that. So think of this Capricornian time and finish your existing commitments, responsibilities, etc. Continue to go through your house, continue to go through your files, continue to get rid of things, but don't waste any more energy hating on it or dreading it. It's just simply an outlived, outgrown structure. Clear it out, or clear out space for it to be released. Another thing, acknowledge existing resources. You have so much within you, and allow this time to give space to them so that they can develop that form, building new structures and the infrastructure for those dreams and creations to be formed, need to be supported within yourself. Saturn, Capricorn, wants to restructure. It's like bone tissue. Bone tissue wants to be rebuilt. It wants to have walking and running and strength training to make it stronger. It doesn't just want to stay stagnant. Its purpose is to form and to be reformed. If it stays static and authoritarian, that's unchallenged Capricorn energy. That aging and hardening and diminishing and contracting, and that certainly will happen if we don't do anything about it. I'm sure we see elders in our lives who move into that energy. However, you can keep it fresh by moving your body and breathing and opening up yourself and your space for new ideas, for new possibility, and for new growth. So at this full moon, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun in Capricorn. And again, it'll be exact on January 7th, but it's in the ballpark today. It's just a degree away. And so I was just getting a lot of images and feeling kind of really went into one's voice. So really allowing your voice to be heard. The mental and verbal foundations reviewed, especially with Mercury being in retrograde. How do you give support and how do you give structure to your verbal expression? And taking that inward, how are you speaking to yourself? How are you speaking your life into physical form? Saturn has a creative aspect to Mercury. Saturn rules Capricorn. And this is a creative aspect. Saturn is in Aquarius. It was the ancient or traditional ruler of Aquarius, so it's very strong at this time. So Saturn is really supporting, in a creative way, the imagination and intuition and childlike nature that's available as the moon is in Cancer. So look for sudden insights, maybe a new way of doing something, giving structure, mental structure, energetic or electric structure to your imagination and your intuition. Think outside the box, and thinking that helps with missing puzzle pieces. So I know I mentioned puzzle pieces a few videos back, so that came up again. Uranus, which is the modern ruler of Aquarius, has a nice aspect to the moon, the sun, and Mercury. So really getting that energetic support of Uranus, which is the shaker-upper. It is the unstagnator of the astrological character board here. It's the modern ruler of Aquarius, and it's really reaffirming that idea of thinking outside the box and also thinking and being open to thoughts appearing out of the blue. It's in the sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign, and thus the sextile to the Cancer moon and the earth, the Capricorn sun and Mercury. So Taurus, there's a lot about resources. Use your resources. Be resourceful. Ideas that come from whatever it is that you are already doing or you have inside of yourself. It also goes along with that clearing out the old stuff. A lot of times you find really good stuff when you're clearing things out. So thinking of ideas as resources. And thinking of converting energetic or electric resources into the physical. Neptune has a nice trine to the moon at this lunation, and for some reason I wrote down good water. So Cancer is still water, it's lake water. It's emotions, attachments. It's where we're comfortable many times. It's about our tribe or our family. It's about being surrounded with people we feel safe, with people we know we're familiar with, we have a like-minded energy with. And Pisces, Neptune energy, is deep water. It's the ocean. It's the unconscious. It's being part of it all. Being unindividuated, it's unity conscious. At this time, Chiron in Aries squares the moon, the sun, and Mercury. So this might be a little taste of what's ahead over the next year as we move into the Aries Libra eclipse season this spring. So thinking of it that way, but also thinking of one's assertiveness, one's individuation, one's courage, fearlessness, agency, experiencing oneself physically, the I am state of being in the world. So Chiron is the wounded healer, or as Adam Gainsburg calls it, the broken open heart. So we're dealing with some healing at this time. The Chiron in Aries, all of that assertiveness and that I amness, that energy of you being I am and being fearless and connecting into your courage, even though you're scared, like we always say with Aries. It's courageous energy, but it doesn't mean they're scared. It means that they can't not do it. So Chiron is squaring the moon in Cancer, so it's kind of that I am energy of yourself versus the family, tribe, or familiarity. And again, nothing wrong with the family, tribe, familiarity, but sometimes as we individuate, we have to to meet that. Maybe we take a path that's different than our family, and then sometimes they don't like it, and sometimes they do. We don't think they're going to, and they're fine with it. So it's really being yourself against things that are familiar. It's being yourself versus the sun in Capricorn, versus authority, versus the wider community, sharing that energy and that voice. It's versus Mercury in Capricorn. So where has your voice failed you? Or rather, where have you failed your voice? By not saying what needed to be said, or sold yourself short, or made yourself smaller, or not owning your own wisdom or your own self-expression. And when I say where have you failed your voice, not shoulding at all, but I'm just encouraging you, especially with this Capricorn energy, to become once again your own authority. Using your agency, maybe bumping up against a few things, inner-linked, outer-linked, but feeling very alive, that Aries nature of being alive, and how that feels, that thrill of putting yourself a little bit past where you feel comfortable. Again, this is a great time for seeding intentions, even though it's a full moon. So the full moon from the new moon, of course, is when the intentions are blossoming. But with this Mercury retrograde and being at the heart of that right now at the Mercury inferior or interior conjunction. So Mercury is as close to the Earth as it will be for this cycle. So it's the Earth and then Mercury and then the Sun. And so Mercury is acting as an intermediary for us. So these 3 days, we are really asking Mercury to put in a request for us with the center of the solar system, the outer monarch and our inner monarch. We're really looking within ourselves and dreaming of the future, thinking of what we'd like to create, looking to dreams or signs or syncs, just like the reading from Matthew as the Magi look to the heavens and to the stars. We're looking to our own stars and our own heavens and our own experience of synchronicities, whether it's in our waking hours or our sleeping hours. And maybe it's through prayer or affirmation, cleaning your meditation space, your meditative altar. And because this conjunction of Mercury and the Sun are occurring in Capricorn, it really still goes back to that foundational energy. And then thinking of times of the day and cycles, schedules, things that allow you and encourage and support your feeling of being powerful and being authoritative, making changes to your schedule and your space to support your own personal energy source. And the reason I'm talking about this is so that as your dreams and imaginings, the intentions and seeds that you would like to plant are beginning to sprout, they're going to need energy and they're going to need support. So use this time to restore your energy, your strength, set up a nice foundation, write down your feelings, and let your ideas come out of this. Do they lead you toward a foundational step to take? Do they allow you to more fully embody your inner authority? Really feeling it is important. I knocked the table as I said that. It's really easy for me and for maybe many other people to deny how you feel about something. Most of us know. We get the thought that this might not be the best thing for me. Everybody knows this at a gut level. And of course, cancer rules the gut. It rules fluids in the body. It rules containers. I'm going to make a little digression. Milk is ruled by Cancer and the moon. And, okay, this is a little digression. So if you put milk in the fridge and there's something smelly in the fridge, pretty soon the milk is going to smell that same way. So there's really something about using this foundational Capricornian, Saturnian energy to get your foundations in place, and so that the milk in your fridge stays fresh. All right. Okay, so this is a time, this 3-day period, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. Look for signs, look for syncs, and look for winks from the universe. Get into your creative mode and write or draw colors, shapes, collage. Just journal, just notice. Take walks in nature and notice what comes, what animals you might see, what numbers on license plates. And then think of this whole energy as pending. After you've got in touch with your inner intuition, you've made the request, you've looked for those signs or syncs, and then fill yourself with gratitude for this experience. Gratitude for the whole experience. Whatever's working well in your life, whatever structures are awesome. And then really being grateful for all the structures and things that are not working well in your life. All of those things that you've outgrown, that are worn out, that you're ready to pile in your vehicle and take to Goodwill. But be thankful that you see them more clearly through whatever experience. And when you see them really clearly and you don't need them anymore, they're super easy to get rid of. It's just like releasing that old shell or sloughing off an old skin. So remember, after that gratefulness and realizing and being grateful for what's working and what's not, thinking of it as pending. So don't obsess about it, like checking your phone 7,000 times to see if that message went through. The message will go through. Mercury is meeting with the sun. It's you sending that message to the outer sun. It's you sending that message to your inner sun, that light of awareness. It's below to above. It's above back into below. It's within to without. And it's also from without back in to within. The correlation and connection is occurring. The timing element, and because this is in Capricorn, the timing may seem delayed, but it's not denied. It is ripening at its own time. Namaste.